Well, this has been a week. Let me explain. We were supposed to have recess today, but yeah, about that. You were just putting your life back together. You had finally started recognizing your own burnout pattern routines. You had started putting in place things to help yourself get things done faster. You even taxed your ass. And then right when you're about to be happy, when you're about to take a deep breath and finally exhale in relief and peace, life hands you a bill. And not just one, two or three. Everything you ignored from last week, last year, last decade, last job, last relationship, and it comes due and it stacks so fast. It's almost to the point where you're just like this close of just going back, diving headfirst into those old patterns and routines that would keep you surviving. Those burnout patterns that we were discussing in the last episodes. That's what happened to me. And that's how I ended up in adult detention. Now, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I've never been in detention like that. Whatever. First of all, you're lying. Second of all, let me grab that hat real quick. Kinda liked it. That looks better. No, but seriously, if you've never been there, then pay close attention because either somebody you know is there right now or on their way, or you are closer than you think to it. So pay attention. And let's be clear, this isn't burnout, this isn't bad luck. This right here, my friends, this is consequences. And not just any consequences, these are adult consequences. All right, AA, my pensado. These are the consequences of our actions or inactions or our decisions. Things that we let slide, all those little things that we just didn't address or we just ran from 100 miles per hour, literally. And I know adult detention sounds so dramatic, but if you've been there, like I've been there, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, lucky you. It's that moment when life just stops letting you slide. There's no more get out of jail free. And everything that you've been avoiding, everything that you've been putting aside, it just shows up at your door or in your mailbox all at the same time. And this time you have no choice but to have to address it. The reckoning has arrived. It's your reckoning, or in this case, it was my reckoning. And you have no choice but to deal with it now. There is no putting it off any further. There's no more, oh, I'll get to it later. Or, oh, it'll work itself out. Not anymore, my friend, not anymore. Isn't it funny how it just turns out to be that it's never just the one thing or the two things, it just always shows up, so many things all at once, stacked, compounding, usually on your chest it feels like. And bam, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're burning out again, you're hitting that point of rock bottom that you just lifted yourself out of. Yep. And guys, I have to admit, after all the videos I put out about what to do, I found myself in that position, so here's how it happened to me. And hopefully you guys can learn from it and avoid it altogether, and if you're there, well, I feel you, my friend. We'll get out of this together. You'll see. My first summons, credit cord. This is where everything that you swiped, everything that you ignored, everything that you delayed or said, yeah, I'll deal with that later, just comes back to haunt you all at once with interest. And then it's not just money anymore, right? It's your time, your energy, your anxiety level, your frustrations, your embarrassments, all your feelings just get sucked right out there. And hopefully, for none of y'all, it's payday loans. Never do that shit. I'm gonna say it one more time. Never do that shit, ever. It's better to pay late fees or like live with anxiety. Just live with anxiety until they evict your ass. Like, don't ever do payday loans, ever. But I digress. It's all those little lies that you told yourself, back in the day, like, oh yeah, I heard somewhere that, without doing research, right, that your credit resets every 7 years, so just wait it out. It'll be like you have brand new credit. Or they'll write it off. Eventually, they'll just write off the debt. It's fine. You're fine. My credit score is crap anyways. It's fine. La última cuenta la paga el diablo. Yikes. And then, one day, you get served. And if you live in states that don't play, well, they don't necessarily have to hand it to you. They can say that they put it within your visual range, and then that's acceptable enough to have later consequences like garnishing your wages. That's crazy, but it's true, and it can happen to you. So stop procrastinating. Pay attention to what I'm saying. This is important. And the thing is, now they own you. They've tripled the amount of money that you owe them. They've added a whole bunch of fees, including the court fees, to sue your ass in court. And you're all responsible for that. You know why? Because you signed that dotted line without reading. Maybe we all should start reading the fine print, don't you think? Pay attention to the news, y'all. And now you have to play by their rules. It's unfair, but it's true. And you're just sitting there wondering, like, how did this get so big? I just spent like $200. That's like the max on my credit card. And all of a sudden now I owe you $1,000, $2,000. I should have just paid the $25 late fee. Shit. And just when you're trying to figure out how you're gonna get out of this mess, all of a sudden you get hit with the second thing. Little thing called traffic ticket court. Yeah, I know most of you have been there. Again, what started off as like a $200 mistake ended up snowballing into a court fine over $1,000. All because I what? Say it with me, children, because I avoided it. I avoided it. $200 over $1,000. Just for what? Good job. Sorry, didn't mean to patronize you there. Now I'm driving around all panic, paranoid, and every time I see a cop pass by or I hear a siren, because in Texas they don't play. In Texas, you have a traffic ticket, eventually you don't pay it, they issue a warrant, and if they stop you for, I don't know, just because I look like this, your asses can go to jail for a traffic ticket. It's insanely stupid, but it is what it is, and that's what you sign on when you sign on to get a driver's license. This is all this shit that you agreed to that you probably weren't even aware of, but here we are. Good times. Adulting still fucking sucks. I just want you to know that. So now it's not just a money problem anymore. Now it's a stress problem. Now it's an anxiety problem. Even become into an actual physical problem. Like I can crash my car, have a heart attack in my early 40s. I can stroke myself out, which I feel like I'm already there. Feeling like I'm falling even further behind in life, in adulting. It's just so unnecessary. Listen to me. You know what? I wasn't just fixing one thing anymore. Now I'm managing a list of forest fires and I have no equipment. In fact, it is hot in here. I'm about to take this shit off because that's how hot I got up in here. Coming back to being serious though, I think the worst part of all the courts was this last court I got summoned to. And it was my own personal court. I got summoned into Jesse's court. And Jessie Justice, she don't play either. She's probably one of the harshest judges to herself that have ever existed. Where's the Judge Judy? And this is where I had to sit with myself. No arguing, because there's no arguing with Justice Jessie. There's no more excuses, because you know what you ignored, you know what you avoided. You remember saying it to yourself, I'm probably gonna hate myself. When this shit hits the fan, this is gonna suck, but oh well, I'll deal with that later. And then there's no distractions. It's just you and all the problems and that fucking mirror that you have no choice but to face. Yep. But you know what? I've come to learn that it's not about punishment anymore. I feel like at that point, it's about awareness. It's about acceptance. Yeah, I fucking did this shit, but it doesn't mean I'm a bad person, and it doesn't mean that I can't fix it. We can still make it better. We can still learn to be better. Did that hit a little too close? Good. Means we're getting somewhere. We can be real here. Promise. No judgment from me. I'm already putting myself out there. Learn from it. Learn from this stupidity. Please, please. Because I feel like this is the part where most people get stuck in, and here's where I was stuck for 40 years of my life. Stuck in the problems, stuck in the avoidance, stuck in the guilt, stuck in being disappointed in yourself. But you know what? That's fine. It's not who you are. Again, I repeat, what you did years ago, whatever you did a few seconds ago, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you do from this moment onward. What you do better. Do better, damn it. Think of detention, this adult detention, as something that is positive. Learn to refocus what it means to fail, what it means to be punished. Because maybe punishment doesn't have to be so bad. Oh my God, you guys, get your heads out of the fucking gutter. Thank you. But it's true. This is adult detention. It slows you down. It stops you in your tracks. It makes you become more self-aware of yourself and why you do the things you do if you allow it. If you take the time to understand yourself and understand what you were doing, what you were trying to avoid, but what can you do better to make sure that this doesn't happen again, like ever. But go into it with humility though, because a lot of times we go in it not wanting to experience any other type of discomfort, right? Because we're already feeling all those negative emotions about ourselves, so we don't need people to make us feel worse. The truth of the matter is, you did do something that wasn't, let's not say wrong, but something that wasn't perfect. And you have to hold yourself accountable to that, and you have to own that and be like, yeah, I did that, my bad. That's not who I am, but it's what I did. So be humble, sit down, and you just gotta accept where you are or where you've been. Just handle what's in front of you. And sometimes when you approach it like this, life kind of helps you out as well. Let me explain. So when I started showing up, when I started making the phone calls, trying to do the negotiations with payment plans, it wasn't comfortable. It didn't feel fair, and don't even get me started. But again, I signed that dotted line. But I did it. I went through the negotiations and the uncomfortable feelings, and I got it done. I set it up, didn't have to go to court. And I feel like life rewarded me for that. Made the next one easier, just a little. I got a call a few days later that I could reduce about 40% of what I owed in the ticket. They were waived some of the fees, and thank God. Just like that, I was able to get all that done in such a short span of time, what I had been delaying for about 7 years. 7 years. And that's the thing that some people get wrong sometimes. They think that it's just gonna take so long to fix. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that, it was effortless to fix. But I think the hardest part, like the biggest hurdle that you need to overcome, is starting. And sometimes there's a precursor to that, and it's just like detaching your self-worth from your mistake. Yeah, you probably understood that. So hear me when I say, if you're in that place right now, like I was a few weeks ago, where things are just piling up way too fast, you're starting to feel overwhelmed and left behind, and like you don't even know where to start, I just have 2 words for you. Start anyway. Just do it. Open the bill, make the call, look at your bank account, and more importantly, look in the fucking mirror. Stop running. Just stop running from the consequences before it's too late. Because the longer that you avoid it, the heavier it's gonna get, and the harder it's gonna be to get out of it. I promise you that. I don't think you need a full reset or motivation at this point. I just think you need a swift kick in your ass. But I always think that. Seriously though, you need to handle what's behind you before it gets ahead of you. There you go, I got there. But let's do it. Let's just handle what we have in front of us, one thing at a time. Even if it's small, consistently. You know what I'm talking about. You guys, the real ones. All right, I know that one was a little bit heavier than what we're normally used to, and hopefully there won't be too many of those episodes down the road. I mean, if we learn our lessons, and hopefully we've learned our lessons. You've learned your lesson, right, Carlitos? Carlitos has learned his lesson for sure, I'm sure. You can never know where to hold him. There we go. Carlitos has learned his lesson for sure. Right, Carlitos? We'll see. And see, just so that you guys know that I do keep my promises, revealing the name of Carlitos. So I want to put it right up there. Shout out to all the people who commented, liked, subscribed, and did all the things, suggestions for this competition. So I will be contacting those people during the week and giving out those prizes. Treat yourself. I don't want to say his full name right now, but you will be seeing it up here. But I wanted to leave that for our recess because that's where his full name celebration reveal was supposed to be. So we're not going to ruin that in detention. We're not going to give you a shitty, I won't spoil thing. Anyways, you'll just have to stick around for the next episode because we will be having recess because we just adulted. We did 7 years of adulting, all right, in 2-3 weeks. We deserve a break. Stay tuned next week. But if you are still feeling all types of crazy, or if I triggered some shit for you, you know, talking about traffic court and credit court, because I know there's a lot of that going around and a lot of scamming. Be careful with the scamming. If you live in Texas, there's no John Smith judge coming after your ass, I promise you. But if you're still feeling all crazy and you just need some kind of like quick relief or distraction right now in this moment, this time I want you to take an even deeper breath, like a really deep one, like the biggest, deepest breath you've ever had in your life. And I want you to shout as loud as you can. Be careful with the neighbors and what time it is. Disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. I will face my motherfucking consequences like a motherfucking G. I will own up to this shit because I am not that. I am me and I am cool, and making mistakes doesn't make you a bad person. I got this. I can handle this. And I will be fucking better because of it. For real now. Get out of here. Go do something kind. Whether it be for yourself or for somebody else. Because kindness what? Kindness fucking matters. Now more than ever. Be kind, damn it. Or. Class dismissed. It's coming. Recess. Next episode. Promise. I just got invaded. Oh my god. Therapy is free. Lucky you. Class dismissed.